What's good, guys? Hacky TCG here, and that time has passed. Once again, Locals has come and gone, which of course means I've had a fun new deck to play. Someone new. This is again another pet deck, another one that just will continue to keep coming back so long as people keep this deck alive. I love it so much. This isn't TB. This is Purple Hybrid with the obvious twist of our friend Susanoo here. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the list. We're going to explain the whole details on why we're even running this dude and everything like that. But if you enjoyed the deck list, please make sure to share it around, let people know, give it a try yourself, maybe let me know how it went. And with all that, we'll just jump straight into it. Of the 5 eggs we're running, because we're Purple Hybrid and with some of the level 3s that we're running, it's always good to have 5. So we'll start with the Digimon. This is here to give our TB trait Digimon execute, rather, not rush, because the only card we're really using this for is the Susanoo. We just want to make sure that we get this egg in trash as fast as possible, and then we've got the same strat as TB kind of going on here, where our Susanoo is just online for the rest of the game, so long as we've got the other pieces that we need in trash, which shouldn't be too hard. Of course, how we get there is going to be a different story, but regardless, this guy at 4, it used to be the really cool Cupimon on deletion, just trash a card, gain a memory, but this deck now kind of goes down a little different strategy, but you could still probably run that card at 1. But instead, speaking of that, we decide to run the Demi-Meramon at 1. So just very simply, on deletion, draw 1 card, trash 1 card. So this is really good for the card draw. The deck still loves that. This is really good because you can also still ditch away cards, and as you will understand as we go on, you want to ditch cards away so that you can assemble the Susanoo, or you just want to ditch away certain cards like the Velgamon. We're still doing the Duskmon Velgamon strat in case we don't see Susanoo. It is still Purple Hybrid at the end of the day. But it is also just another generically good like purple egg for a lot of the level 3s to digivolve over, so no complaints here. It's very obvious as to why you would run them. You could make some changes, but you want these the most. Okay, we're going to start by talking about the level 3s here with the 4 Ukomons. Really good card for the hybrids because you don't need to worry about your actual level 3s in the deck. So this kind of leaves space for your level 3 area to where you can just run these, because you can digivolve on top of any egg, doesn't matter, just for 1. So of course we can digivolve on top of the Onibemons and the Demi-Mera with no issues. And then when this pushes out from the breeding area, but if it also sees other Digimon pushing out from the breeding area, your turn you can go ahead and reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can pick up a Digimon or a Tamer. It's a really solid level 3 for the deck. It's one of the best. I always want to look for this card because it's just going to help kind of sift through all your stuff whilst helping get the Onibes into your graveyard ready for the graveyard. The trash ready for Susanoomon, if you know what I'm saying. So, no inherited, but we don't need one. They're also just really nice bodies on the board, so when we push them out, we're not digivolving with them, we're not using them for anything. They're just nice to kind of put pressure on our opponent by taking away some security and checking stuff that we're not too bothered about running into with these guys, so definitely not too bad. But if you keep them around on the board and your opponent has no way of actually outing them, you can get some incredible value off them as well. So with that, we also move on to the last one of Ukomon. So as you can see, we definitely go through our eggs very quickly with the deck with these Ukos, because being able to push out and then hatch is just incredible. So with this one, it's the same kind of deal. If it sees itself or another Digimon push out from the hatching area, you can go ahead and hatch in the hatching area, and you can gain a memory. So of course, if these two see each other, it's like you get to search and gain some memory. It's incredible value. The moment they're on the board, people would rather just get rid of them. They don't want to deal with that, because letting your opponent get away with that kind of value is insane. It's incredible sometimes. You could just run away with games because of what these guys can do, and that's really good. It's pretty good for hybrids where they don't have to care about that. Their level 3 lineup anyway. But there are some hybrids at level 3 that we can care about, because they can be very useful and they can very much come up for the Susanoo plays we want to do later on. And starting with that is the Flamemon. So this can go ahead and digivolve on top of our purple eggs for 0. It's completely fine, absolutely love that. But then we also have the on play to reveal the top 3. We can pick up a hybrid or a 10 warriors, and we can pick up a 10 with inherited effects. So regardless of this being like a red level 3 Digimon, we can kind of just treat it as purple here, apart from digivolving into him, right? But we can pick up anything we want with the on play. We can digivolve in the back and it's completely fine. And then on top of that, we also have the on deletion to go ahead and play a Tamer with inherited effects from our hand without paying the cost. So Later on, when you find this guy in the trash and you assemble the Susanoos, you can put this guy under. It's going to be another way to get those Tamers out to get some additional effects and or Digivolve into hybrids for that next turn for the extra swings. So it's a really good level 3 for the deck if you don't have the Ukos as well. But it's also a nice red hybrid for Susanoo to see as an additional colour and as another assembly stack. So it's a really good card. Following on from that, we have 2 of the Strabimon. So again, it's a blue hybrid, another colour for the Susanoo stacks, but it's also just no one Digivolvings, no on plays or anything like that. Just inherited when attacking. If this Digimon is hybrid or 10 Warriors trait, it just gains a memory. So with the Susanoo, you're going to be able to get a memory back with this dude, and in combination with some other cards we run in the deck, there are times where you're able to steal turns back when on a Susanoo play, and it's disgusting when you do so, because you obviously slam the dude, you like trash, you get rid of everything, you trash their top security, you recover one yourself, and then you also gain some memory back. You also play some Tamers out. Yeah, it's nuts. We'll get to that in a bit. But following on from that, we also have 4 of the TB Hanimon. So we're able to ditch away a TB trait card to be able to draw 2. So of course they can ditch away each other, whilst also being a purple level 3 to Digivolve on top of the eggs in question that we run. So it's another level 3 that we can push out from the back, which isn't too terrible. And of course we've got the inherited when attacking to just go ahead and generically draw 1 card and trash 1 card, so we can also kind of fix our hand a little bit and put stuff in the trash that we need for either for the Dusk and Velga plays or for the Susanoo plays that we want to do later on. So a very valuable line of level 3s. I don't have any complaints with them. I see them all when I do need to see them. This deck can kind of chew through itself like an absolute beast and find all the pieces quicker than what you'd expect, especially when you're running cards like the Uko, the Flame, and the Hanimon. So very good lineup of level 3s, but we're going to move on to the hefty amount of level 4s that we use to run this deck, because they are the backbone. So okay, so I think it's good to start with the most prominent level 4s of the deck. We of course start with the Duskmon here. So Duskmon, on play when Digivolving, he's going to be able to the end of your opponent's turn, change one of their colours to something non-white. So effectively, you can turn anything into red, blue, yellow, green, purple, black, and be it Digimon or Tamer, it's going to be like that until the end of their turn. So obviously, for Digimon, grey text boxes are like more of a thing now. So this whole like changing the color thing in order to disrupt your opponent anyway doesn't come up as much as you'd think. But that's definitely not what we're using this for. We definitely use it in tandem with the Velga, which we'll get into in a second, because we have the when attacking, one of your Digimon or Tamers may Digivolve into a level 4 hybrid Digimon from the trash for the cost reduced by 1. So of course, as you kind of understand with the original shtick, if you want to get a Velga in trash, you want to get into this Duskmon on top of your level or your purple Tamers, then when you swing, you can Digivolve into that Velga for the reduced cost, and then you get to do Velga things after that, right? But first off, we also have the on deletion here to go ahead and you may play a Tamer with cost of 4 or less from your trash without paying the cost. This is really good because it doesn't need to be a Tamer with inherited effects. It can just be 4 cost or less. So we're talking about, to kind of spoil them here, you're talking about your Koichis, you're talking about the Yukis, you're talking about the Louis. You get the idea, right? You can just play any of them back. It doesn't matter. You get the Koichis back on the board. You can start doing dust stuff either the following turn, or the Koichis are just there to have to help kind of sift through your deck with the draw 1, trash 1. You can get the Yukis out and start getting rid of stuff to gain memory back at the start of your turns, or just on that turn to kind of extend your plays. It's really good. The Dusk itself is also pretty decent in terms of Digivolving, because it can Digivolve on top of this part's not as amazing, because it Digivolve on top of a level 3 or a Tamer that isn't Koichi for the cost of 3. Which, for a level 4, isn't amazing, but it does come up sometimes. Just having that option there is nice. It allows you to get it, like finagle your way out of situations you otherwise wouldn't be able to. But the main thing here is you can Digivolve on top of Koichi for 2, or you can Digivolve on top of a Velgamon for 1. So it's definitely not that bad. I like this card a lot. I have no real complaints with it. It's one of my more favourite cards of the deck, with it being the purple hybrid build, right? So definitely want to see him at 4. The other purple hybrid I want to see it for is the Velgamon, as you can guess here. It can Digivolve on top of a level 3, a level 3 or a Tamer for the cost of 4, so you don't really want to Digivolve directly onto this dude. You definitely want to get to your Dusks first, and then you can go from there. But its Grey Text Box can also help it Digivolve on top of Koichi or a Duskmon for the cost of 3 and 1 respectively. So, again, you don't want to directly go into this dude unless it's from Duskmon, and even then you want the Duskmon to swing first so you can Digivolve into this dude from the trash. It's just way better, it's a lot more effective, because kind of going off from the fact that the Duskmon went ahead and changed colours of Digimon or Tamers, the Velga here, on play when Digivolving, for each colour amongst your opponent's Digimon and Tamers, you will both mill that many cards. So, let's say your opponent has one of each colour on the board, including white, you and your opponent will both mill 7. And then on top of this, the Velga will go ahead and gain 1k DP for each card milled this way. So this means both you and your opponent will mill 7 cards. The Velga will then gain 14k DP, making it an absolute monster during that swing. But that's not where it stops, because at the end of attack, we can go ahead and delete a level 4 or lower purple Digimon to delete all of your opponent's lowest Digimon. Lowest level Digimon, should I say. So, let's say your opponent's got like a level 4 on the board, and then just to kind of exaggerate it a bit, but really sell it, 2 level 6s on the board, like no protection effects, anything like that. Not that that would happen these days, but you get the idea. You can go ahead and go into the Dusk, you can change their level 4 to a purple Digimon, and then you can go ahead and Digivolve into the Velga when you swing. You will mill so many cards away, and then if you get through into their security, or you get the check off, or you're able to end the attack, you can go ahead and choose to either pop the Velga itself, because it is a purple level 4 Digimon, to then pop their lowest, so it will pop their level 4, or, because you made their opponent's Digimon a purple Digimon, and it's level 4, you could go ahead and pop it to pop their level 6s, which is really good. The versatility on that is incredible, so I have used, like, this combo is... It's the reason Purple Hybrid is so good at the end of the day. I've used this to out myself from many a situation. It's incredible when it does happen. It's also very cheap so long as you have the Koichis on board. It's, these two work so well together. It's incredible. I love the cards a lot. I really do love them a lot. Following up from that, the last thing we have to say about Velga, it's inherited is retaliation. So sometimes if the Velga finds itself under something else, the retail's not too bad. You get to throw that Digimon stack into something else that you don't want to deal with. Or if this has stayed on the board and the Velga's underneath something and then they swing into your stack, it's like, cool, I've got retail, I'm going to try and pop something whilst I go. And then, of course, you've got your other on-deletions in the stack that you can also consider as well. So it's really good. It's really good in that regard. So you definitely want both of these at 4, because if all else fails, you've got the original Purple Hybrid strat to fall back on. So there's no real complaints there, honestly. It's still pretty good to this day, if you ask me. Following from that, though, the other hybrid lineup, we have 4 of the BT19, or the BT18, should I say, Loimon. So, kind of similar with the Dusk and Velga here. It is another Digimon for Koichi. It can Digivolve on top of a level 3 or a Tamer for the cost of 3, be it purple or yellow, which is pretty good. That's decently versatile, can't complain with that. But you mainly want to Digivolve on top of the Koichis for 2, and then you can also Digivolve on top of Kaiser Leomons for 1. So it's really good in that regard of being able to Digivolve into other things for a cheaper cost, and then when it Digivolves, you're able to draw 1 card and trash 1 card. The rest of its effects continue to kind of get better, because when it attacks as well, you can go ahead and Digivolve into a hybrid Digimon from the trash for the cost, for its cost. There's no cost reduction with this one, sadly. Unlike the Dusk here, but you still like this card. It's still able to get into certain cards that we've talked about pretty decently from the trash because of this, so it's very helpful. Then, of course, you've also got the inherited effect of when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than by your effects, you can go ahead and play a Tamer card with inherited effects from under this stack. So if there's ever a world where you've Digivolved on top of the Koichi, or you Digivolve on top of the Tamer in question, and you've Digivolved into something else through the when attacking effect, and then you've lost that stack, you can go ahead and play the Koichi out. It's protected, it's safe, you've got it back, you've not lost as many resources as you think, and then, of course, the stack goes, and you go from there, so... But on top of this, the Loey is also a purple and yellow hybrid, so it's another colour for the Susanoo, and it's also much like the Dusk and Velga, it is another name for the Susanoo as well, being a hybrid. So It's just what you want to see. It's also good at filtering out through the deck with the draw one, trash one, much like the Koichis, much like the Hanimon inherited. So it's everything the deck wants it to be. So definitely no complaints with it being at 4. From there, we just have one of the BT7 Kaiser Leomon. So this card's pretty decent. It's able to Digivolve on top of level 3 for free. Again, you mainly want to Digivolve on top of your Tamers as if they were level 3s. And then from there, you can also go ahead and Digivolve on top of another level 4 for 1. So back then, they didn't have the great text boxes for being able to Digivolve on top of specified other hybrids for lower cost. So this guy could just Digivolve on top of a level 4 for 1. And I gotta say, this can come up, and it's... be it for just drawing another card or just getting kind of a higher stack, really. Or even sometimes just passing your opponent on 1, not giving them too many options to work with. But yeah, it's not so bad. There's no inherited to this dude. It can just Digivolve on top of a purple Tamer as if it was a level 3 for the cost of 2. So it doesn't even have to be the Koichis. It's just a nice kind of generically good hybrid in terms of getting into one for a cheap cost anyway. And then when Digivolving, if the card under this is a Koichi, it can just gain Retail until the end of the turn. And that's decent in itself. You can effectively Digivolve into a level 4 for a very low cost, and then you can kind of send this off into something you don't want to deal with the Retail, or it just acts as another hybrid you can Digivolve into to kind of get that extra swing out. But of course, it's a purple hybrid, much like the Velgrin Dusk, so the colour thing isn't too much of an issue here. But it is another name for the hybrids, because the Susanoo still needs to see different names for each card under the stack. So with it being Kaiser Leo, it's really good for that. So next up, we then have one of the Agunimon. So I really like this tech piece personally for myself because, again, it is another colour for the Susanoo being red and purple. With it being purple, it's got the same shtick of being able to Digivolve on top of a purple or red level 3 for the cost of 3, or it can Digivolve on top of a purple or red Tamer for the cost of 3. So regardless of us running Koichis, we can still Digivolve into this Aguni and it's completely fine. On top of this, we're also able to, forgetting the grey text box, because that would let us Digivolve into either Burning Greymons or Takuyas, but we don't run those, so that doesn't really matter. We can just, when Digivolving, we can go ahead and get a hybrid trait card back from the trash. So, as you can see, this is really nice as it's another way to get Susanoos back, so if we ever need to Digivolve into this dude, we've also got a body we can swing with. And then on top of that, we've just gotten our Susanoos back, or we've just gotten even our Duskmons back, so we can kind of make additional Tamer plays from there. So, other than this, it's also got the Inherited to gain 2k. So again, with it being another card that can go over the Susanoo can gain an extra 2k. Sometimes that can come up, sometimes it's not too bad. You really don't mind seeing that. Stack dies either way, but regardless, it's nice. But a lot of the time he is just used to kind of get the cards back rather than for anything else. So we do just want him at the 1. We don't want to see him too many times, but when we see him, it's enough. It's nice. So then, last but not least for the level 4 lineup, it's Kendo Garurumon. You are never Digivolving into this card on a Tamer. You do not have the Tamers to actually be able to do this. It is completely here as a card to ditch away so that you can use it for the Susanoos later, acting as a nice blue and yellow mix for the colours, and also being another hybrid with a different name. The Inherited is also very nice because it's just when attacking, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you can go ahead and draw another card. So again, it's another way of drawing cards. This card kind of stuck from the AD1 version of the build where you ran the 5-cost Tamer, because being able to... You could Digivolve onto that Tamer because it was yellow, which was fine, and it was also the Koji for the name here. But on top of that, it was just a nice card to kind of stack under as an extra hybrid card to be able to meet the requirements you needed to. And it's kind of acting as that here. The Inherited does come up a lot, surprisingly. You're ditching away enough cards to kind of keep your hand around 6 or 7 cards, which is pretty good. And then, of course, it's acting as a really nice colour variation and hybrid name for the Susanoo. So, and there's not enough of it in the deck to where it's getting in your way. You're definitely seeing a lot of your other cards first, and even if you do see the Kendo first, you most likely have a way to just ditch it out and just get rid of it. So it's not too bad. I like the card sitting there. The extra card draw is really nice. Probably don't need to talk about the when attackings it actually has, because, let's be honest here, they're never coming up. But regardless, they are just draw, and they are just Digivolving into another hybrid trait card, kind of similar to the way the Duskmon would do it, but you'd never use it, so there's no point. But that is finally the level 4 lineup done. So we're going to go ahead and move up to the level 5s. And let me tell you, it'll be a very quick one. And you'll see why. Okay. Level 5 lineup, here we go. It's absolutely spectacular. It's amazing. You'll love to see it. It's just 2 Beowulf, Mom. I love this card. When the AD stuff came out, this card was incredible. I loved the strategy it played back then. But now, we're not trying to do that strategy as much with the Susanoo. So, when it came to cutting numbers and like figuring out what I wanted in the deck, this at 2 just felt right. I've not wanted it at 1. I don't need it at 3. Definitely don't need it at 4. It's just kind of like, it's, again, a yellow hybrid for the deck. It's a different name for the Susanoo. It's what the deck wants. But on top of that, it's pretty decent because it goes in tandem with the Loemon, because you Digivolve into the Loe from one of the Koichimons. You will... Koichis! And then you will go ahead and ditch away the Beowulf, ideally, because when you attack with the Loe, you can Digivolve into the hybrid from the trash, so you Digivolve into this Beowulf. And then this Beowulf goes ahead and it has jamming. It's just got, when Digivolving, when attacking, not once per turn, you can minus 4k from something. So it's really decent if you can get into it without having to pass turn, and then you swing with it after. That's minusing 8k from something. That's nothing to, like, scoff at, really. But the most important thing here is we have the end of attack on deletion effect that is also not once per turn. Because end of attack on deletion, you can go ahead and play a purple, yellow, or black Tamer from hand or trash without paying the cost, and then by placing a hybrid card under one of those Tamers or under this Digimon, you can go ahead and draw 2. So of course, with this not being once per turn, this is a very nice card where if you do see the setup and you see the line for this, you can get into this and start just spamming your Tamers out, and that can effectively set you up for certain games. That can effectively set you up to start doing some Dusk Hive like kind of loops, like turn after, or you know, not on that turn, but you can set the Tamers up, which is really nice for it. And of course, drawing you more cards. So when you think about some of the Koichis that you do run in the deck as well, you've got the on-play draw 1, trash 1, but this is also drawing you an extra 2 cards as well. Again, you're just chewing through this deck incredibly fast. That when you see 1 or 2 of this card, that's it. You don't need to see any more of it. It's just really good as it is. The only other thing I have to say about this card is it's got them when attacking to minus 4k from something. You're not ever really using this inherited too much, because if there's ever a time where you do play out the Susanoo and you're not able to minus enough DP from the bodies to get rid of it, then this comes up, minus getting an extra 4k, so you're definitely going to be able to get rid of whatever exists, unless it's just way too big. Or, you know, you'll just kind of delete everything and then you end up not using it, but it was nice that the Beowulf was there, regardless, right? So... yeah, very good card. We run this at 2. I don't run any other level 5s. I just run these, because you're just going to want to go into your level 4s for the purple hybrid stuff anyway, and then the only other thing you're doing is you're slamming a level 7. That is very self-sufficient in what it's doing. So there are builds of this that is running the Rihimon, the purple-yellow level 5, because it's when Digivolving can go ahead and get you a Tamer back from the trash, which is really good. And its Digivolving caveats, if I recall correctly, aren't too bad. They're actually pretty good. So if you wanted another level 5 for the deck, the Rihimons are really good. The Arrestadramon Superior Mode is still really good for the deck, being able to just Digivolve and attack without suspending, though it is a little costly now. It's definitely still an option. It's also not really a hybrid for the deck to really benefit from much of the other stuff. But regardless, I just run these 2, and they're all I ever need. So that's it for the level 5s. So we're just going to go on to the level 7s now. So we're skipping the level 6s, and we're just going right to level 7s, because the only level 7s we're running in this deck is, of course, we've been talking about him all up to this point. Here he is. We have 3 of the Susanoomon. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This card is stupid busted. It's unbelievable what Bandai did with this card, let me tell you. Because the fact that, like, Purple Hybrid was able to look at kind of what TB was doing and go, maybe let me get in on that, was kind of crazy. But regardless, we have to talk about him. He's here. He's now one of the main new strategies for the deck. You can Digivolve on top of a level 6 for 6 memory. You can Digivolve on top of a hybrid, level 6, a Shambhala trait, or a TS trait for the cost of 5. You're never doing those. in this deck especially, you're just never doing those, so it doesn't matter, it doesn't come up. But what you do have is you've got Rush, Raid, and Blocker. The Raid is okay, but it probably never comes up. The Blocker is decent. Again, it never comes up. The Rush is absolutely coming up every single time because of the Onibemon egg with the Execute. You're always ending your turn. You're always swinging with this dude. It's nuts. But to kind of start with, we'll go over the Assembly first. So Assembly for -9, 8 Digimon with Hybrid or Shambhala and different names. So, of course, all the hybrid traits that we've talked about, Digimon, well, the Digimon in particular, not the Tamers here, not that they have traits, you can go ahead and slap like 8 of those under the Susanoo, then you're reducing its cost, and then you have all of those wonderful inherited effects to go off of, whilst also doing its own effects, which is, on play when Digivolving, you can go ahead and, to all of your opponent's Digimon, minus 3k from each of them for each color in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. So it's really good. You're effectively able to get up to about 12k. You don't really go any higher than that, I don't think. Oh no, you do if you have another Susanoo under this dude, because he can use himself for the assembly. So you can go higher with that. Regardless though, still pretty good. It can still clear out a decent amount of boards that you just don't want to deal with. And we do, of course, have the Beowulf when attacking that we can minus 4k from something else if there are any pesky leftovers that our opponent has left. Like, still has standing. And even then, with that, if we still can't get rid of those bodies that way, we have the when attacking here to go ahead and we can place one of our opponent's Digimon on the top of their security. That doesn't happen as often as you think, though, because a lot of the time you're going to just clear their board outright regardless. And then from there, you get to go ahead and trash one of their security if you have 4 or more colors in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, and also recovery 1. So, again, with the amount of colors that we're running, with the amount of different hybrids that we're running, we're trying to make sure that we always have the 8 different hybrids, or at least 7, along with the egg, and then 4 colors minimum. Not that we could get any higher than that. We could get 5 with, again, the Susanoo being also a white, along with being yellow and red. But regardless, a lot of the time, yeah, we want to hit that 4, that sweet spot, then we are able to just kind of trash one security and swing another. A lot of the time, this is effectively our Omni for game. A lot of the time, well, other times, I guess, when you're being aggroed down, if you just kind of see the pieces fast enough, this can effectively just kind of steal games back, because being able to just clear off all of your opponent's aggro and then recover your own whilst also taking your opponent's, it's really good, especially if you can back-to-back this dude, because as we've discussed before, with the Strabumon and with some of the other Tamers that we have in the deck, we're able to steal turns back with these Susanoos. So being able to slam one of these dudes, steal turn back, and then slam another one, it's detrimental. That's the kind of thing that your opponent just can't really come back from a lot of the time, not without you probably just having another one of these as an answer, or having a way of getting one back. Yeah, this card, it is the boss monster of all time, let me tell you. It's really good. I'd run it at 3. I'd probably look to try and run it at 4, believe it or not. I do have a 4th one I'd want to try and test out. But for now, because of the ways that we also have, like, to get the card back from trash when we do use one up, I've not been too fussed seeing it at 3. I think it's been perfectly fine. So, and with what the card does, a lot of the time, when you see 1 or 2 of it, it's kind of wraps. The game ends from there, so. But yeah, incredible card. Run it as a 3 of, looking to run it as a 4 of, but for now it's been the GOAT of all time. So next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Tamers of the deck, as you finally wait for them, because, you know, they're the other part that the level 4s especially need to see in order for this deck to function for the most part. We have 4 of the BT7 Koichi, so very simply just on play, draw a card, and then trash a card from your hand. Really good. It's a free cost tamer, so it's not costing you too much to just kind of start filtering through your deck. And then on top of that, we also have, it's still got the security effect even as an inherited tamer to play itself out from security. And then it's also got the inherited of an on-deletion to gain a memory. So as you can see, the initial play is you can go into a Duskmon, you swing, you get into that Velgra, the Velgra will pop itself most of the time. Then not only do you have this on-deletion to gain a memory back, you have the on-deletion of the Duskmon to play the Koichis back out, and then everything begins again. So, very good tamer, really like this at 4, there's no reason why you'd go down on this number in Purple Hybrid specifically. So it's just really good. Next up, we have the newer Koichi, the BT18 one. So this is the yellow-purple one. Same security kind of deal. Same kind of like, well, not same inherited effect, but it has got inherited effect. But first off, we have the starter main, where we can go ahead and by trashing one card with the Hybrid or 10 Warriors trait, we can gain a memory. So this is really good to have on the board because it can help set up and get you a bit of extra memory ready to start doing your purple hybrid shenanigans or for any other kind of costly shenanigans you'd have in mind. And then we, of course, have the when attacking, which is really good because you can go ahead and get a Hybrid or 10 Warriors trait card back from the trash. So as you can see, if you decide to go on into a Dustmon from this Koichi, not only are you doing the Dustmon Velgramon thing, you're getting something like a Susanoo back. Maybe a Susanoo that you ditched away through the mill. Maybe a Susanoo that you ditched away with a Hanny to draw 2 a little earlier on. The fact that you can get the Susanoos back whilst doing your regular like destructive purple hybrid thing is phenomenal. It's really good. A lot of people do run this card at free of because obviously it is a Koichi for the deck. It's kind of what they want to see. This is where I'm a bit different because I've run this card at 2 and I've seen no trouble with it ever at all. Because a lot of the time you want to find the BT7 Koichi anyway because it's a cheaper tamer to get out and can also help start like drawing and trashing for the Velga. Whereas, yes, this Koichi can also get rid of the Velga ready to set you up for your Dustmon loops and so, well, your Dustmon plays and stuff. But I don't know, I've just never needed to see this tamer at free. It's a really nice card. I see it when I want to because you go through the deck very fast. But I've never been like, man, I'm searching for this Koichi specifically so quickly. But I suppose it's nice to have it free, especially when you're running a strat that involves trying to get certain cards back from your trash, or trying to definitely try and get your Dustmons back from your trash, so you can just carry on doing the purple hybrid thing. But we have some other workarounds for that. We have the Iguni, and we have another card coming up. So I like this card at 2. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't need to run it any other numbers, but I'm happy to be proven wrong on why you'd run it at 3 or any other number. So. Next up, we have one of my kind of new favourite additions to this deck. This was a little bit before AD01, but even now this card's just amazing. I love this card generically. It's so good because you can kind of forget the your turn and the end of all turn effects because the only thing we're really doing here is just on play start our main phase. We are ditching any card we want to gain a memory. And then, other than it being that's it, other than it being a 4-cost purple tamer. Also a red tamer, not bad for the Iguni, but the Iguni could also digivolve on purple anyway, so regardless. This is a solid card for the deck. If you see this come out of security, being able to ditch something away and gain a memory, potentially stealing turns, I have done that with Yuki before. It is incredible when you do, it's amazing. Or just being able to help set up and start ditching away so many cards that you can set up for your Susanoo. The quicker you get a Yuki or 2 on the board, the quicker, everything starts speeding by, especially when you're able to gain memory back for doing so. So, on top of this and the BT18 Koichi, they're very nice cards to effectively start ditching a lot of stuff away in your hand. You can effectively fix your hand in any way you want with stuff like this. It's just really good. There are times when you actually do need to you would digivolve into this from the Dustmons, so it will cost you 3 instead of 2. But this also acts as a 4-cost tamer for the undeletion of Dust when you do the Velga end of attack. So you can just play this Yuki back out as if it's kind of like a higher cost Koichi. Not the best, but the fact that it can kind of do that as opposed to any other non-Koichi purple tamers is incredible. It's really good. Like, this deck loves this tamer just as much as it would anything else. So I love this card at 3. It's great. So next up, we've talked about him a lot in the beginning of the video, but we have the Louis here. So the Louis is a really nice card because it's another tamer that can be played out with the Dustmon on deletion inherited, because it's on play can just let us push a Digimon out from the hatching area just without any cost at all, and then after that, when it sees that Digimon get pushed out from the hatching area, you can go ahead and suspend this dude to gain a memory. So, as you can see, if you do something like your Ukomon play, you push it out, you've already got a Koichi set up on the board, and then you search some cards, you set up in the back again, and then you do your Dustmon, like your first lot of like Dustmon into Velgramon, you would be able to play this guy back from your trash, push out that second hatching, and then, it's another body on the board, it can help you pressure, you gain a bit of memory back for doing this again. That's just one example, but you kind of get the idea. This Louis is here to help kind of speed up your hatches from the back, whilst also just gaining you a better memory whilst doing so. It's also a really nice way to kind of help end some games where you have something in the back, you can't quite get it out yet, so you slam the Louis in order to do so, and then you're able to just swing that last body for game. So it's a really good card. It's obviously just at a 1, because it is just limited to 1, much like the Pro Maruko. But it's a really solid card. I like the card a lot. I've never had to remove it. I've never felt the need to remove it. I think it will just kind of always stay, unless something that comes out that is effectively just better than this card in every way. But not seen it yet. So then for the Tamers, because of the strats that we're doing, we have 3 of the Analog Youth. So 2-cost Tamer that can go ahead and search the top 3, pick any Digimon from among them, and then trash the rest. So of course this helps us pick out specific Digimon that we need, like maybe our Duskmon, like maybe our Susanoomon, and then we just trash the rest. So if we search like 3 different hybrids, we're picking 1 up, we have to, and then after that, that's 2 more hybrids in the trash ready for Susanoo to use. So we're effectively doing the TB strat, where we're trying to kind of mill away as much of our deck as possible to then start using it again later on. But other than that, we also just have the all turns effect. When this would see one of my Digimon with, like my level 5 or higher Digimon with stacks under it, be deleted, you can go ahead and suspend this to gain a memory and hatch. This card has stood the test of time. So many decks use Analog Youth. So many decks are made better with Analog Youth. It's just a generically good card, and it's really good at the cost of 2 as well. So it's no different here. It's another card that the Dustmon can go ahead and play back out from the trash as well. It's the other card in combination with the Strymon that is going to be able to help play steal your turns back. So let me, consider this. You've got 2 or 3 of this Analog Youth out. You do the Susanoo play. You swing with it. You gain the memory from Strabby. It deletes itself with the Execute, so you're definitely using the Analog Youths. And then you most likely have Dustmons in the stack as well, so you can try and play back certain Tamers, like, oh, I don't know, the Yuki here, to on-play ditch something again and gain a memory. You are definitely stealing turns back in this deck when you do Susanoo sometimes, and it's disgusting when you do. I've done it plenty. I've done it quite a few times. It's when you see it happen, it's so like, oh man, like, you can't say anything. You're at a loss for words, let me tell you. But it's secretly fun when you do it, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's going to round it up for the Tamers. These are all the Tamers that can have a 1. There have been some builds I've seen where you run the memory setter mat, where when you ditch a card, you can gain a memory. I do want to try it because the memory setting and then gaining all that memory is really nice, but I've not seen any issue with the set that I've run, so I'm kind of going to keep doing it that way. This is hitting a similar area for the level 5s for me, where this deck used to be quite option heavy. Like, you use Underworld's Call, you use Calling from Darkness, you had Rivals Barrages, and you also had Violet Imbu to help ditch those options so you could draw more cards. It was a very effective way of doing things, and it was very cool. Now this deck just uses 2 options, and I don't know how to feel about that, and those 2 options that I like the most are Ancient Guardian Deity. So, regardless of the colour here, it's a 2-cost option that, whilst you just have a Tamer or a Digimon with a hybrid trait, because you can't have Tamers with a hybrid trait, so long as the Tamer's just on the board, even Analog Use, it's really good, you can go ahead and just use this card and ignore its colour requirement. So when you use it, you may return 1 Digimon card with the hybrid or 10 Warriors trait from your trash to the hand, and then you may play 1 Digimon card with the 10 Warriors trait, or 1 Tamer card with the inherited effects from your hand with the play cost reduced by 4. So this card is incredible, because it's another way of getting our Susanoos back for starters. That's, of course, why it's there. But I've always loved this card even before Susanoo, because having a cheap way to get back your Dusks, other than having to, if you don't have the Koichis for whatever reason to Digivolve, or you had to do some weird stuff where maybe you milled away a Dustmon and you want to get something back, this can also help you set up a Tamer whilst getting a piece back from your trash at a very cheap cost. So it's like, I have no issues with this option. I love this option a lot. On top of that, the security effect also for it comes up a lot, because you get to play 1 Tamer with inherited effects from your hand or trash without paying the cost, and then add this to the hand. So if it gets checked, not only are you definitely getting this option in your hand to then get your pieces back from the trash, and also play another Tamer, you can go ahead and just play a Tamer because it was checked. It's effectively like checking a Tamer, really, at that point, whilst also getting this invaluable like resource piece into your hand. I love this card. Like, especially in this deck now, I love this card too. Just having so many different ways of being able to get your Susanoos back, but honestly, all of your hybrid options as well is really good. Because, yeah, the Susanoo is considered a hybrid. You can definitely get this back with it. It's really good. This also has the 10 Warriors trait, so if you really feel like you need to or have to, there are situations where the BT-18 Koichi can in fact ditch this away to gain a memory. Don't think I've ever had to do that, but it's there. Like, options having traits is, like, you know, it's pretty cool. It's neat. This also being 10 Warrior, it can be searched by the Flamemon, so that is another good plus. Because I think the Flamemon is, yeah, just like search... Basically just search the deck for a 10 Warriors or hybrid trait card, and then the inherited effects. So it's like, yeah, no, this card is very good. It's very good. I definitely like this card at 2. There have been times where I used to run this card at 1, but I bumped it ever since kind of seeing the priority in having to get certain things back from the trash. And honestly, this card's sitting at 2, and meaning it comes up in Security a lot more, it really is good. Yeah. I could keep talking about this card for longer than I should have to, but only need 2 of it. Love this card. Yeah, it's great. That is going to go ahead and conclude the Purple Hybrid / Susanoo deck profile. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I've kind of been saying it throughout the video. You can kind of understand and probably hear it. I do enjoy this deck a lot. It's really fun to play. The way that the Purple Hybrid deck just keeps evolving, the way people keep updating this deck because they don't want it to die, has just been weirdly incredible for me. It was not a deck at first that I didn't think I was going to play it a lot, or I didn't think I was going to get much enjoyment from it, but probably one of the best, like, fuck it, I'm going to try this deck and see how it goes kind of things, and I fell in love with the deck ever since. Upgrading it, tweaking it, add the little bits, kind of finding the parts that I feel are most valuable to me. Like, I don't think a lot of lists are actually running as many Ancient Guardian Deities as they would. But I just remember seeing the card and I'm like, this seems baller, I'm going to try running it. And yeah, it's, you know, it's stuff like that that, like, you can do so many different things with this. I know that probably doesn't have as great an art, like, a foundation now, what with Susanoo being here, because you're most likely going to play this variant of the deck where you're just going to want to try and spam this dude as much as possible, right? But the ways you get there are still pretty interesting. I kind of do eventually want this deck to come away from this and try and look at doing something a bit different again. Maybe I'll try and find a build with the AD01 stuff again to see if I can make that effective. But regardless, I like this as it is currently. I'm still having tons of fun with it. And if you try this list out, please do let me know what it was like. I'm quite curious to hear people's takes on this one especially. But, of course, share the deck around, let people know if you liked the video, if you subscribed because of this, all stuff like that. It's always great. Love the interaction as well. It's been an absolute blast getting this stuff together. So, yeah, in the near future, I hope to get some more content out, be it some gameplay, some other deck profiles, or maybe some other stuff I have in the works, as I kind of keep saying. But I want to kind of, like, talk about Digimon TCG as a whole, you know? That's kind of what I want to try and do. But regardless, I will catch you all soon.